We're out here at Monument Circle, and we're doing a GMS location. You know, and as you can see behind us, we have the monument. You know, and this right here, where we're standing, happens to be the center of Indianapolis. You know, this is the center of Indianapolis. You know, and there's a whole lot of satanic stuff going on in this area here. But the thing is, you know, you're not going to find a lot of stuff online. You know, stuff you're going to find out is stuff that over the years we've been researching and going into. And we happen to be in the state called Indiana, which Indiana is in Diana, which is, you know, Diana of Ephesus. And also you have Indianapolis, which is in Diana, and then Polis is the word for city, Indianapolis. You know, now behind us, this monument, pretty much what you see is an obelisk, you know? And this obelisk that you see is pretty much, you know, a symbol of, you know, of the sun. All right, that's what an obelisk is all about. Matter of fact, we have information, if you can hand me that, the marshal part. We have information here, which we're going to go into. That's yours right there. And pretty much where we're at is, this area here is the center of Indianapolis. And pretty much it is situated between 4 streets, which are the same streets. You have Market Street, and you have, you know, Meridian. All right, and the word meridian, or the term for meridian, is, it says a circle of constant longitude passing through a given place on the Earth's surface and the terrestrial pole. So it gives you different definitions. It gives you astronomical definitions, and it also gives you definition in acupuncture. So in acupuncture and Chinese medicine, each of a set of pathways in the body along with vital energy is said to flow. And pretty much, you know, you also have something called ley lines. Ley lines are power points on the planet where these devils have used to set up certain monuments in reverence and worship of their gods. If somebody gets Psalms, what is that, 96 and 5, the gods of the nations? Yes. You know?
96 and 5.
Yes. And it's a little hot out here now.
Book of Psalms, 96 and 5. And it reads, "For all the gods of the nations are idols,
right?
But the Lord made the heavens."
Right, for all the gods of the nation are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. Because you have this consensus, or this thought, that the gods of the nations created everything. They have their own creation story. They have their own story of the flood and all of that. You know? So, but their gods that they worship are only idols, because they're worshiping the sun, the moon, the stars. They're worshiping nature. They're worshiping water. They're worshiping anything but the Heavenly Father. As it says that man is ignorant of the Most High, the creator of all things. All right? So now, that's the word for meridian, which we're on. One of the streets that crosses this path is Meridian Street. The other one is Market. There's Meridian right here. And meridian, right? The term meridian comes from the Latin meridies, meaning midday. Now, I try to look for information on it to see at what time noon, if the sun passes at noonday over the monument. But I didn't find any information on that, you know, because this is the center of Indianapolis, and in the center of Indianapolis you have an obelisk, which is sun worship. If you got something to bring it out, you know, if brother's got any precept, any points about the shop. So this is an obelisk. The obelisk is a sun monument, and this sun monument, or this area where they place it in, which is in the center of Indianapolis, it might just very well be that the sun, when it passes at noon, is actually right above this monument. You know, but like I said, I didn't find any information on it. You know,
okay. Yeah, this is the definition of obelisk according to the Merriam-Webster's online dictionary. Definition number 1: an upright, four-sided, usually monolithic pillar that gradually tapers as it rises and terminates in a pyramid.
As you see right there, it rises, and when you get to the top, it usually terminates as a pyramid, but in this case, you have an idol on top of it, which is known as victory. All right? Now, victory, she has a sword in the right hand and a torch on the left. All right? And there's a lot that goes into that. You have more?
Yeah, that's the obelisk, O-B-E-L-U-S, which is definition 2 of that. It says a symbol, minus or division, used in ancient manuscripts to mark a questionable passage.
You want to say a few words on that?
Yeah, so
somebody look
it's
at
a questionable passage.
Scripture,
As he said, you know, these, when he found the information, it marked the markers of where they set particular things on the earth. They knew how to set it.
Exactly.
So that's what that questionable passage is.
Right.
All right.
Because this right here is set up by strategically set up, and also mathematically, and by sometimes they'll do it according to the constellations of the heavens. So there's a whole lot that goes along with it. But I do have some information here on the obelisk and the beginnings of the obelisk, which goes back to Egypt, and it's not, matter of fact, somebody get Revelation 11 and 8. It's no coincidence that the scriptures call this place spiritually Egypt.
I got it.
You got to bring it out.
This is the book of Revelation, chapter 11 and verse 8. It says, and their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified.
Right, it's spiritually called Sodom and Egypt because it's not physically Sodom and Egypt, spiritually. Why? Because they take on the same customs. Here you got an obelisk. In Washington, D.C., you have an obelisk. In Central Park, you have an obelisk. And different places around America, they carry the obelisk, which are ancient pagan statues or objects. Now, the first life, it says first life, the obelisk in Egypt. The monolithic, which means one stone, mono is one, litho, the stone, one stone, as you see here, that most of the pyramids were built as one stone, and they just set the base and just tapered it up as they went and put a capstone at the top, which was a pyramid. And pretty much the word pyramid goes back to two words, pyra and medos. Pyra is fire and medos is measure, the measure of fire. Okay, because they're trying to capture the power from they're trying to capture the power from the sun. And that's what the ancient nations did. And that's what they do here in America, the modern day Egypt, the modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, modern day Babylon, which is Babylon the Great, you know. So it says the monolithic obelisk was invented by the kings of the 5th dynasty, 2465 through 2323 BCE, in reference to the sun god. All right? It says Re, that is Ra. They often had kingly connotations, representing a connection between the spirit Ka of the king and the sun god. The shape of these obelisks may have been representation, with the shaft functioning as a pillar in honor of the sun god. Somebody get Deuteronomy 17 and 3.
I got a scripture.
Bring it out.
This is Psalms 96 and 5.
Beautiful.
For all the gods of the nations are idols,
Boom.
but the Lord made the heavens.
Right. So the gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens. See? So these things that you see Esau do, they have to have a representation of them on the earth. That's why you have an obelisk, or you have whatever they have, you know, because they need something tangible to worship, whether it's Dagon or Baal Peor or whatever they may be, Ashtoreth, Diana, Ephesus, so on and so forth. You had that?
Yes, this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 17, verse 3, and it reads, and have gone and served other gods and worshipped them, either the sun or moon or any of the host of heaven, which I have commanded, which I have not commanded.
Right, so the Lord didn't command these things, but that's what Jake did. That's why he said, don't do after the manner of the nations, because for those things that they did, they were cast out. And if any brother got precept or whatever, bring it out.
But it says they worship the creation, or they worship the creation more than the creator.
Right.
You know?
Bring it out.
I got something right here. Hard to.
All right, let's move around. Let's move around over here to the shade for a little bit. I was about to move anyway.
Yeah.
Because I know it's getting hot. Getting hot. All right, so you got it, Elder.
Okay. Revelations. I said Revelation. Exodus 20 and I start from 3. 20 and 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath,
Right.
or that is in the water under the earth.
Right.
You know?
You wanna say a
So
few words, yeah.
you're not supposed to, worship the sun, the stars, and all these different things.
That's it.
I'm about to get to Habakkuk 2 and 12.
Yes,
Shalom
let me
to
get
the
that.
elders.
Habakkuk 2 and
It's
12.
on the comment board.
It says, and the Pyramidion symbolizing the rays of the sun as they hit the earth. And I'm going to read that again once where we got scriptures bring out.
Habakkuk 2 and 12. Okay, this is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 12, and it reads, Woe to him that buildeth a town with blood and establish a city by iniquity.
Right, and this has been established by iniquity because they say that they're a Christian nation, right? But they establish things based upon pagan principles. You know, so this is not a Christian society. It's a pseudo-Christian society. That's why when you go to church, that whole plantation / Renaissance Christianity is nothing more than a brainwash to keep, especially Jake, away from the truth.
Really,
Now,
Satanism.
You got it. You got it. Yes, you got it. Bring it out.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, beginning at verse 29. It says, when the Lord thy power shall cut off the nations from before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou succeedest them and dwellest in their land. Take heed to thyself, that thou be not snared by following after them, after that they be destroyed from thee, and that thou inquire not after their gods, saying, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise.
Right, because now here it is. You're going to Sun and Moon Cafe. You can't make that shit up.
Oh, shit.
You know, and the thing about it is here it is. You know, you're going to conquer nations that worship particular gods, and those guys can't help them, and you come in there and take over their properties and their lands, and you're going to turn around and worship the same gods that they were worshiping. You think there's going to be a difference? Ain't no difference. Hey, Amaziah, what he did, he was throwing Edomites by the thousands off of cliffs and making them bust at the bottom. And after all of that, he turned around and worshiped Quas, the god of Esau.
Yep. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 2, verse 33, and it reads, Why trimmest thy way to seek love?
Beautiful.
Therefore hast thou also taught the wicked one thy ways.
Yeah.
All right, so it says, why trimmest thy ways? Just like you just going through the last scripture. You know, we were told, commanded not to go into this land and honor those other gods, okay? Because, you know, we have the law, statutes, and commandments.
Right.
But then you go in and you forsake those law, statutes, and commandments, okay? And then, you know, knowing Jake, you know, you magnify the evil, all right? You take it, you learn it, just like with this this movement, this Skittles movement, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with that movement. Now they done took your so-called colors and put it on that flag.
Right.
Make you the face of it.
A sacred symbol.
God.
You want your back? Yeah, bring it up. You have more?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Psalms 115 and 3. But our power is in the heavens. He hath done whatsoever he hath pleased. Their idols are silver and gold, the works of men's hands. They have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not.
Right. Look at that. You can keep reading, brother.
God.
They have eyes and mouths and ears and noses. They can't see, smell, taste, none of that.
Says, verse 5, they have mouths, but they speak not. Eyes have they, but they see not. Verse 6, they have ears, but they hear not. Noses have they, but they smell not.
That's it. That was it?
Yeah, because they have to make idol gods to show forth their hand. Hey, the Lord commanded us not to make idols because the power is in His name. You know, the all power and glory. Because you know what, people will get simple and they'll worship the what is created more than the Creator.
The creation.
Yeah, the creation. Yeah, creation.
They worship the creation.
Yeah.
You have some?
Yeah, I got something. Yeah, but those guys there, they're just as real as Bugs Bunny, you know?
Exactly. And Bugs Bunny's realer than
You
that.
know, they don't have no power, man.
Right.
You know? But
Right, it was it's a figment of somebody's imagination.
Isaiah 47 and 10, it says, "For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness." Yeah, because they think these idols give them power, man. You know?
And they do to a certain degree because they have that left hand energy, but that left hand energy leads to destruction eventually.
And guess what? And that still come from the Most High. And that still come from the Most High, you know? What's wrong with you? But anyways, but that left hand energy, it still come from the Most High. Because the Lord said what? I do evil and I do good, you know? So that still come from the Most High.
That's it.
It says, "For thou hast trusted in wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me." But guess what? We see. You know, the Lord woke up the man of the Lord to actually see these things and actually expose them. It says, "Thou wisdom and thou knowledge have perverted thee. Thou hast said in thy heart, I am, and none besides me." And that's what he do when he set up these idols, man. All right? He try to basically X out the Most High. You know?
Because he said that there is no Most
Yeah.
High. The fool that said in his heart that there is no, no God.
That was it. That was it.
Okay. Did you have something, Jimmy?
This is Jeremiah.
We have more. Now, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Finish up. Nah, bring it. Hey, get all the light out there, bro.
"Therefore shall evil come upon thee, and thou shalt know from whence it riseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. Desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know." Because why? This is not a God-fearing society, man. You know? So eventually judgment is going to come.
That's it. And it's going to come upon you unexpectedly. Unexpectedly. And more?
It says, "Stand now without enchantments."
Right, because these are enchantments. What is an enchantment? An enchantment is when you have a spell over somebody.
Yep.
These things put spells on people. That's why we talked about the ley lines earlier, which are power points on the earth. Like when you go to the book of Genesis 28, it speaks about where Jacob, you know, they call it Jacob's ladder, where the angel is ascending and descending. Those are power points on the earth, and these devils know that because they search everything out. So when they set up their monuments, they set them up in certain locations on the earth that have these types of events going on.
"Stand now without enchantments, and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth." And you can see this takes labor.
Yeah, because it's that one,
You know?
165. So that goes back sometimes.
You know, they labor to have a knowledge of wickedness, which the scriptures say the knowledge of wickedness is not knowledge. you
Yeah,
know?
because they said that this right here, this particular thing was made from limestone from Indianapolis.
See?
You know, so you know how much work goes into every detail on there. I mean, you got all kind of people and gods and flags and eagles and cannons and man, you know how much detail goes into that, how much money it costs to set this whole thing up and to plan it, the actual spot and everything. You know, you got it.
It says, "Wherein thou hast labored from thy youth, if so be thou shall be able to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers and stargazers and monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee."
Right, this is your left hand energy or your left hand priesthood. The priesthood on the left hand side. You have more?
Yeah, but the-
Okay, you have some, Elder Demarcus? Okay, yeah, I want to make it, but no, bring up the priesthood.
This is Jeremiah chapter 10.
This is about the scripture, baby.
That's right.
Because he touched on some of the scripture too. The Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 10. It says, "But the Lord is the true power.
That's right.
He is the living power, and an everlasting King. At His wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations."
Not at some statue.
Yeah, exactly.
Statue that don't have no power.
No
man.
power.
You know.
It says, "And the
That's
nations."
why the Lord mentioned. He says
he's gonna melt the idols when he come back. You know?
Ooh, they're going to be visited. Yeah.
They're gonna be visited.
They're
You
gonna
know?
be melted, yeah.
It says, and the nation shall not be able to abide his indignation. That's why the elder said, you know, hey, now the wrath of the Lord is about to come. You know, eventually, hey, you serving these idols, the wrath of the Lord is about to come down. The saints of the kingdom are being fortified, as is the judgment of the wicked.
Right.
It says,
Let's see if all of this what you did and what you surrounded yourself with, you know, this shelter that you surrounded yourself with.
Right.
Let's see if it's gonna help your ass.
Yep. Hey, because these other nations, they had gods too.
Yeah.
What happens? What happens when an earthquake comes through? Those gods are broken into pieces.
Right. Hey,
You
wait
know?
a minute. What happened? Wasn't there empires set up by their gods and fell?
Exactly.
Wait a minute. What happened when they brought the Ark of the Covenant in Dagon's temple?
Yeah.
That's right.
All over.
What happened? Why didn't Dagon stand up and just kick the Ark of the Covenant over? No, he fell and his head, eventually, the second time they came to get his whole ass, his head and his arms came off.
Yep. Hey, no, he made a point too. He just said, you know, the gods of this world are going to perish. This is verse 11. It says, thus shall ye say
There is
unto
no
them.
gods.
Right.
Thus shall ye say unto them, the gods that have not made the heavens and the earth, even they shall perish from the earth and from under the heavens.
Right.
You know, so the gods that have not created this place, like these gods, or these memorials to gods, you know, or that's supposed to be a deity, you know, on top of this idol, you know, those are going to be destroyed with this place. All the when the saints are set up in power on the earth, all the idols of the earth are going to be taken down.
Oh yeah.
There ain't gonna be no reverence to no other deity,
What's up?
but the true and living power.
In that day, the Lord's name shall be one. The Lord alone, Yahweh Bashem Shah, will be exalted in that day.
This is what the elder Ayasha quoted. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 19 and verse 1. It says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt. And the idols of
Right,
Egypt
right.
shall
We're just going to what's the new Egypt, America, man. All right, America. Okay, this is the new Egypt. Go ahead.
It says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it.
Man, you in trouble, Jack. Is that it?
No.
All right, so now it says here in the rest of this, it says, and the pyramidion symbolizing the rays of the sun as they hit the earth. And as you see the sun come down, you see the rays hitting the earth, right? So now, the obelisk is a sun symbol. Now, if you get an aerial view of this area, what you're going to notice is the way that these buildings are set up, and the way that the sidewalks are set up. If you could pan on the sidewalks, you'll see that they're in a form of sun rays. And what that sun rays represent is something called, let me bring it out, it's something called a sun cross. Because now the circle itself, this monument and the circle itself was used as a pattern for the flag of Indianapolis. You know? Now, if you could read this right here, you got the sun cross.
It says the sun cross. It says interpretation. So like interpretation as solar symbol. The interpretation of the symbol equilateral cross as a solar symbol in Bronze Age religion was widespread in the 19th century. Scholarship. It says the cross in a circle was interpreted as a solar symbol derived from the interpretation of the disk of the sun as the wheel of the chariot of the sun god.
Right,
the
so
sun
pretty
god
much,
Weasler.
right, so pretty much it says the cross in the circle was interpreted as a solar symbol derived from the interpretation of the disk of the sun as the wheel of the chariot of the sun god. So when you look at this symbol from the aerial view, the obelisk, which is a sun symbol, is surrounded by a sun wheel or a sun disk, you know, which is a sun cross. And that's why you have the obelisk planted right in the center of two streets that cross each other. So it's a cross with the obelisk in the middle and the sun wheel all the way around it. You know, that's the way it's set up. And it was established that way on purpose. This wasn't a coincidence. This was clearly planned out. You know? Is there more?
It says, postulated and attested Gothic rune veil or wheel representing the solar deity by the wheel symbol of a cross in a circle reflecting by the Gothic letter here.
Right, so it was set up as pretty much a wheel symbol of a cross in a circle. So this right here, what we're looking at, is a cross within a circle. And then outside of this circle, within this circle, you have the rays of the sun. Just like when you go to the Vatican City, St. Peter's Square, you have an obelisk and you have also a sun wheel. That represents the worship of the sun, but it also represents the generating principle of life, which is sex. And that's pretty much what they worship. They worship the act of sex to bring forth or generate forth life. Because these devils can't create that. And that's why they're trying so hard to create life or artificial life. Because they know they can't create it like the Most High did. That's what they're trying to mimic. That's why they say, I will be like the Most High. But you're not going to achieve that. Did you have something?
Yeah.
Bring it out.
Yeah, this is brought up the cross. This is going back into that definition of obelisk. And one of the definitions was a dagger. Okay, and this is again from the Merriam-Webster's Dictionary, online dictionary, definition number 2B under dagger, a character of a cross used as a reference mark or to indicate a death date.
I'm sorry, read that
It
again.
says a character of a cross used as a reference mark or to indicate a death date.
Death date, right, because this place is already marked.
Right.
Because it says that this is the 8th head, right, that came from the 7 and goes into what? Into perdition. So there is a date set up. See, in your days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. That's, matter of fact, get it. I can't think of the whole term. Somebody get it.
15, 14,
14 and 5.
At the end of the day, the Lord, He's about to end all of this, man. All this idol worship. Because look, He have people, worshiping these things subconsciously.
Yeah.
They don't even know that they're actually worshiping these things, man. Rather it's through the TV. A lot of people come here just to take pictures of this statue, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Take pictures in front of it.
Yeah, take pictures in front of it. So yeah, you worshiping these things, man, subconsciously, man.
Now,
ignorantly.
they say that this is a hoax, but this is on a reputable website. The website for this. This is on there. It says the state capitol building is located in direct view of the monument circle from its inception, meaning from the beginning. Soldiers and Celia's monument, because it's
That's the state capital.
right. And that's the state capitol right there. If you turn around, you have the state capitol, which is that building there with the rotunda on top, with the green thing on top, and the rotunda on top, and it's in direct view of this, right? So it says, because this is known as Monument Circle, it says Soldiers and Sailors Monument, which is another name for it, made from Indiana limestone. It says it's 342 feet in diameter and 284 feet tall. And I'm sure they got some kind of satanic, numerology, but I don't know all of the intricacies of that. It says at top is an allegorical statue portraying victory. That's supposed to be victory, right? Nicknamed Miss Indiana.
Another thing, because when you look on there, when you read the
Caption?
yeah, when you read it mentions one of the wars, and one of those wars is when they conquer Gad, man, on there. So what?
Yeah,
Victory
so
over Gad.
Well, that's why they got Gad and Junior bending down
Yeah.
to the
Matter of
soldiers.
fact, if we go around,
Yeah,
I'm
we gonna
sorry,
have
Dad.
No, I'm saying that's why they got them bent down to the soldiers, monument of the victory over Gad and Junior.
Right, and then they got the bears in captivity.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
There's another,
Yeah.
right there. They
see?
got it right here.
Yep.
If
They
you
got
look
the
at that lamppost, they have the bears in captivity.
And
Below that, they have the bison.
yeah, but look at the top.
Let's
Eagles.
Let's move over. Let's move over.
Yeah, sure.
Move over.
Yeah, they got the eagle at the top, you know?
Yeah, and the bison is spitting out water, and that's relative to Gad pouring out his resources to these heathens, to the so-called white man. You know, if you look at the bison is pouring water out of his mouth. You know, that's indicative of Gad, the resources of Gad being vomited up to these devils. You know.
Matter of fact, let's walk up there.
So he put some time into this thing, man. Yep. He put time into this. You know, he put some time into this. You know?
Look at that.
Look, he got the eagles at the top.
There in captivity. You stand up to the top, you see this, you see the eagle, which is pretty much the phoenix bird, because the phoenix bird is a mythological bird that arises from the ashes after it's destroyed. So they think that they're going to continue on afterwards. And if you look, matter of fact, is it that one? That's the same thing. That's a different one. And then let's go around. Let's go around. And look at this detail. And that's Jake right there in chains.
Yeah, Jake and chains.
See the Jake and chains right there? And then it has what? The fur of on the shield with an eagle on top. Out of many one. This is not a coincidence. This is not just something that just happened. All of this, is not coincidental. And it's not a coincidence that you have a woman there, because this country worships the woman. Goddess worship. This is all goddess worship. You know? And this is stolen land from the so-called North American Indian.
Precept.
Bring it out.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking princes walking as servants upon the earth.
Have to talk louder because of that water.
Yeah, come a little closer.
This is Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 7. It says, I have seen servants upon horses, and princes walking as servants upon the earth. Okay, also, man, who are those servants upon horses, man? That's you Edomites, man, so-called white people. Okay, you are servants and positions of power. Okay, because ultimately, going back to Genesis 25, what did the Heavenly Father tell Rebecca? That the elder shall serve the younger. All right, but guess what? We're in a position now where the earth has been given to the hand of the wicked, man. Here, us Israelites, man, hey, we're in captivity, man. Our group 3 says what? The year yet this day in our captivity. All right? It says, and princes walking as servants upon the earth, and ultimately, hey, those princes are us, man. As Israelites, we are princes of the power. Okay, but due to our transgressions, due to our wickedness, due to following after these false idols, man, guess what? We have been put in a position of service, man. See, all because of our wickedness.
Right. Now you have Lady Victory, right? Which also goes back to Lady Liberty. Right? And then above her is a woman. Right. And if you look at that woman above her, right, that's the same woman that you find in Manifest Destiny. When you type in Manifest Destiny, you have a picture of a woman dressed in white hovering over the field of the soldiers. And that goes back to Colombia. And there's an actual place around here that's called Colombia. I'm not sure if I have Columbia House. Right. Columbia House. That's not a coincidence. Matter of fact, the planning excellence. All right. It says the inner and outer sidewalk, strong sense of enclosure. It's surrounded by different buildings, as you can see. And one of the buildings is called 55 Monument Circle. That's the Art Deco circle. Then you have Columbia Club. Yep. Then these are also known as Victorian era buildings. Right? Now, I have here Goddess of Liberty figure. It says, before Uncle Sam and Lady Liberty were created, Columbia was an idealized feminine figure that personified the new nation of America. The concept was created in 1697 when Chief Justice Samuel Sewall of the Massachusetts Bay Colony wrote a poem that suggested that the American colonies be called Columbina, a feminized version of Christopher Columbus' last name. It says, the image of Columbia became a symbol for American ideals during wars such as the American Revolution, so on and so forth. You know, so all of that goes back to Diana, goes back to Artemis, you know, and that's what that symbolizes, that picture of that woman up there, hovering over the victory that Esau got over the so-called Native American Indians. Somebody get Genesis 49, what is that, 19? You have that? And you got to pay for all of this.
I got it.
Bring it out.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 49 and verse 19. It says, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last.
Right, and so they're celebrating the victory of Gad, the victory over Judah. As you can see right there, that's Judah. And that woman represents Columbia, which that's the one hovering over the top. You know, so it's a representation of everything that Esau has done to conquer the tribes. You know, I believe somebody read that earlier. I had seen servants upon horses, you know, and princes walking underground. You know, and you can't get no further down in the ground than that with the Jake right there. If you can pan the camera to the Jake, right there on the ground with the chains on it. And the shield is what? Each verb is one out of many one. You know, that is the main goal of America, to set up and establish the so-called New World Order. You know?
This is the goddess Columbia.
Yeah, right there on the shield.
There's one right here too.
Right, matter of fact. If you compare right here, Ash,
It is.
see right there on their shield, the Rothschild shield, that's the girl of the sun.
Then, right here at the bottom, it got eagle claws coming out the bottom right here. You know?
Yeah, because the eagle has landed.
Yeah.
Now, if you come over here, right, and you pan straight up, you're going to see an image of a demon right there, with a serpent on top of it.
It's like seduces or some shit.
Yeah,
Medusa,
yeah.
It's like her.
That's that one right here. That's a dude right there. That's a demon. You know, why are you going to set up your you know, this is a Christian nation. Why are you going to establish something like that with demons on it? Gargoyles and demons on it. And that's also an obelisk.
Yep.
In the form of a light. Because on top, the Lady Liberty or Victory, she has a sword in her right hand and the torch in her left, representing the torch of Freemasonry or the Illuminati.
That's a sun wheel.
You got it?
That's a sun wheel going around the top of it.
Hit him.
You get that sun wheel around the top of the eagle with the sun wheel.
Brother number one got a precept.
This is the book of Acts, chapter 19 and verse 35. It says, And when the town clerk had appeased the people, he said, Ye men of Ephesus, what man is there that knoweth not that the city of the Ephesians is a worshiper of the great goddess Diana, and of the image which fell down from Jupiter? It's just going to show you that since we're in Indiana or Indiana, okay, that woman worship goes all the way back to Ephesus, man. And you had Israelites back then in Ephesus worshiping the goddess Diana. That's why the scriptures also say that there is no new thing under the sun, because here, okay, Indiana is not the only place where woman worship is exalted, man. It's exalted across all of America and many parts of the earth, man. Okay, that vibration is going forth, not the four corners of the earth, man. See, Psalms, the 37th chapter, I believe, it says, I have seen the wicked in great power, spreading himself like a green bay tree. Because with this wicked man in rulership, what is he doing, man? He's spreading his wicked philosophies, doctrines, and religions across the whole earth, man. Poisoning everybody, okay, and putting everybody under that spell, man, with his wickedness. That's it.
Had a precept. Go ahead.
Bring out the precept, brother.
This is Sirach. This is Sirach 10 and 3. An unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited.
All right, sit.
Hey, you ever seen a movie with this symbol on the front of it? Columbia. That's who that so-called goddess is on the top of here, holding the torch. If you could pan up, that so-called goddess holding the torch in her hand at the top. That's who that is holding the torch.
And the sword, yep.
You know?
I'm gonna read it again.
It's all based upon what?
This is back in
meridian.
Sirach.
I'm sorry, it's meridian and market. Which market goes to the agora, the market. And meridian is the midday. And this is where all the people were gathered together to do business or to hold court cases or to hold governmental whatever they had going on at the time. You got it, brother. I got that precept. And we get ready to close out because it's starting to rain.
Okay.
So I'm saying that's enough.
Sirach 10:3, an unwise king destroyed his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. And you see Esau, Edom, so-called white man, they're the rulers of the earth right now, all right? And you see that Esau, Edom, he got everybody under subjection, and everybody, basically destroyed, all right? The ways that they're thinking, the ways how they operate in life, all right? It's just,
That's that cup, the cup of the horse.
All right, and the Lord despises that. All right, so the Lord is going to set up, what it say? Through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited. All right, which is the Israelites. All right, started under Yahweh Shai. All right, Yahweh Shem Shai, or Yahweh is going to set up Yahweh Shai. All right, and the whole land going to be inhabited. All right.
Because it's through Yahweh Shai, because beginning with Yahweh Shai, and you got the 12 and the rest of 144,000, which they're going to enforce the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Shai, and the new kingdom, the new heaven, and the new earth, where it goes righteousness, which is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. Because here in this kingdom, wickedness is promoted, man, which is why the world is as fucked up as it is, man.
All right, we're going to close it out.
Yeah. All right, so with that, this has been part 1, GMS on location. And I'm here with the brothers from Indianapolis, elders and brothers from Indianapolis. Diligent brothers. So Lord's will. So the next time we say Shalom.
Shalom.
All right, let's roll out. Hey, which way? Which way? Which way? Oh, we're on the other side. Come back around. Which way? Which way?